Hello everyone, it's Matt here from Scoop in Response. Today I'm going to be running through my deck list for one of the new commanders that released with Core 2021. For 1 red and a green, Radha is a 3/3 with the following text. As long as it's your turn, Radha Heart of Keld has first strike. You may look at the top of your library anytime and you may play lands from the top of your library. She also has an activated ability for 4 red and a green. Radha gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. The goal of this deck is to ramp by playing creatures that give extra land drops each turn, and recur them from the graveyard or play them off the top of your library. We're going to win with either commander damage by pumping up our commander, or overwhelming our opponents with an army of tramplers. Let's check out the deck. For creatures, we've got Arbor Elf, Avenger of Zendikar, Azusa Lost But Seeking, Beast Whisperer, Birds of Paradise, Brash Taunter, Combat Celebrant, Craterhoof Behemoth, Destiny Spinner, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Elder Gargaroth, Elvish Mystic, Eternal Witness, Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma, Grand Warlord Radha, Incubation Druid, Clothis, God of Destiny, Llanowar Elves, Nylea Keen-Eyed, Nyxbloom Ancient, Occame Adversary, Paradise Druid, Questing Beast, Reclamation Sage, Thragtusk, Vexing Shusha, Wayward Swordtooth, and Wood Elves. For Planeswalkers, we have Domri, Anarch of Bolas, Garruk Unleashed, Garruk Wildspeaker, Nissa Who Shakes the World, Nissa Worldwaker, Vivian Champion of the Wilds, Vivian Monsters Advocate, and Renin 6. For Enchantments and Artifacts, we have Arcane Signet, Crucible of Worlds, Embercleave, Girapur Orrery, Lifecaster's Beastery, Mana Crypt, Ronus' Monument, Sol Ring, The Great Henge, Whispersilk Cloak, Beastmaster Ascension, Carpet of Flowers, Guardian Project, Rhythm of the Wild, Snake Umbra, Survival of the Fittest, Sylvan Library, and Wild Growth. For instants and sorceries, we've got Cultivate, Eldritch Evolution, Finale of Devastation, Natural Order, Shamanic Revelation, Uncage the Menagerie, Beast Within, Heroic Intervention, Return of the Wildspeaker, and Worldly Tutor. For our land base, we have Bloodstained Mire, Castle Embereth, Castle Garenbrig, Cinderglade, Gaia's Cradle, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, Rogue's Passage, Rootbound Crag, Sheltered Thicket, Stomping Ground, Stripmined, Taiga, Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, Wasteland, Windswept Heath, Wooded Foothills, and rounded out with 13 forests and 6 mountains. This list gives us a converted mana cost average of 3.3 without lands, so we should be very fast and we should have a whole range of turn 1, 2, and 3 plays that we can mulligan for. So the interesting thing about playing Radha as a commander is there's a whole bunch of ways that you can essentially one-shot players with your commander. The great thing about her is that you don't actually need to swing in unless you're going to go for lethal on the whole table with a fully pumped Craterhoof combo in the late game, because the threat of pumping Radha at any given time means that your opponents will have to block quite aggressively, and you can determine if you want to pump accordingly and push through, or if you're just happy to take some value trades. So some of the easiest ways that you can actually win is just by incremental chip damage with your commander, putting everyone to basically a 21 life limit. Once you actually get down to either 2 or 1 opponent remaining, that's where you can do a whole bunch of land destruction loops that will be much more efficient than trying to hate on the whole table all at once. So you can look at things like Crucible of Worlds with Azusa and Stripmine and Wasteland. If you want to lean into this further, you can add things like Ramanap Excavator, Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin. I personally didn't want to make this a full-blown hate and land destruction deck, but it's certainly only a few cards away if you are wanting to do that. Interestingly, the list actually has quite a few pieces and it's in the right colors for something similar to how you'd play modern Ponza. You could certainly add Pillage, Destructive Revelry, all of those sorts of things to the deck if you wanted to lean into this further. You can really game your opponents by being very explicit and specific with how you move through combat phases in the game. By declaring moving to attack step, you can bait out removal prior to moving into the declare attack step. If you have something like Rogue's Passage on the field, it essentially means that blockers are going to be irrelevant, so you can effectively pause the game and get as much information about how you want to spend your mana. Often I find myself not spending anything prior to the combat step and pretty much tapping out in my second main or during combat. This is purely because you have so many different ways with trample, with unblockable, to ensure that Radha's getting through to someone. And it's also a great political card because when you move to the attack step, essentially you can start the conversations about where that commander is going, who it's swinging against. And if you've got players that are holding up instant speed removal, essentially you can make deals with them as to not swing at that point and get through damage on another opponent. So that's the deck that I've built for Radha Heart of Keld. I really hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to check out more and see how the deck evolves, you can have a look at the Moxfield link that I will leave in the description of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.